Legacy Maker, the All Sports
The
Network.
place is here and the time is now. Let's take it round for round. And people gather round. Let's see who can win the crown. All the marbles involved. Football, baseball, or golf. Who's dominating the hoops? Who's talking false or the truth? Yeah, come and show me your war face. I show you my war face. No holds barred, so for your sake, you better show up in good shape. Valuable information is key to your domination. So focus on preparation. Online is your reputation. Yeah, it's one-on-one. You and me, ain't no fear in me. You will see. When it comes to this, you'll be wearing the number 23. In debate, I hold my weight, cause these sports I'm attached to it. Your legacy, get ready, cause I'm gonna set a match to it. Hey. Burn 'em, fire, 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 burn 'em. Fire, 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 burn 'em. Fire, 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 legacy on fire, 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 burn 'em. Fire, 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 legacy on fire, 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 burn 'em. Fire, 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 legacy on fire.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are here for episode 77 of Legacy on Fire here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network, and of course, airing on the Amazing Boy Television. It's good to be back. We're going to be coming for the next couple of weeks. We got a lot of great sports content coming your way. We got NFL information coming your way over the next couple of predictions and all that fun stuff. We're going to get into all that as we get closer to the NFL season. But more importantly, we got some things to talk about before we get into all that. Now, with me today, my esteemed panel. To my left. There we go. To my left, sitting there with us. He's one of the founding fathers, ladies and gentlemen, of the Legacy Maker Sports Network, Mr. Jeremiah Quimby. How you doing today, sir?
I'm here, man.
Just want to be present. Just want to be present. And then right below me here on the screen, he is the man that if you need a little Virginia Tech in your life, you need a little bit of look, he just the southwest part of the state. That's a Joey Raymond thing got going on down there, ladies, and just a little bit, just a wee bit of Tennessee. He is the host of the Sit Down with Joey Raymond. Joey Raymond, how you doing today, sir?
Dude, I'm doing great. It's been a great day. Day before 4th of July, prepping for tomorrow. We're going to tailgate some fireworks. I'm really excited about it. Repping Miami Marlins for my boy Eric Wagaman, who's been on an absolute tear lately. Yeah, no, it's been a good day, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be great. We're going to kill some topics today. Just saying.
That's right. And if y'all don't know, just go back and check that episode where Joey had a chance to sit down with Eric. Sit down, just go check on the YouTube page. And of course, last but not least, he's the lead panelist here on the Legacy on Fire show, and he is the co-host with the J&J podcast with the man right above him, Mr. James Brown. How you doing today, sir?
Doing good, man. We're back. Been a while, but we got some takes. We're ready to go. Let's get it started.
Yeah, there's been a lot going on, so let's go ahead and get the party started with one sentence. So one sentence. We're starting this one with a hypothetical because we've heard a little bit about this over the last couple of months. Now, the Bucks have made some moves since, a lot of this is going on. Damian Lillard no longer there. It being one of the things being waived. They brought in Miles Turner. They thought Miles Turner was going to be a solution over Damian Lillard, but that's besides the point. So the question is, there's still talks that he could be heading out of Milwaukee. If you guys had to say, okay, do you see him heading out of Milwaukee? Where would he go? If you had one sentence on where would you like to see Giannis if he heads out of Milwaukee? James, I'll start with you first. What's your one sentence on Milwaukee potentially sending Giannis elsewhere?
My one sentence would have to be bucking the trend. And that's because he's not going anywhere. Let's stop the lies. He's not leaving. He loves it in Milwaukee. He won his championship there. It's all he's known since he's gotten to the NBA. Their organization has taken him in. They've embraced him. I doubt he goes anywhere. If he were by chance to leave, I hope it is somewhere along the Eastern Conference. Maybe Miami. If Pat Riley can
talk that
find
good
the old magic and make a deal. But honestly, if we look at a lot of the good teams, the contending teams, there's not a lot of spaces left for them unless you overhaul your entire roster. Sure, there's a lot of teams he could go to, but they'd have to give up so much just to make it work as far as money, compensation, assets. So, if anything, it's going to be an Eastern Conference team, but let's be real, he's not leaving.
Yeah, and as much as I would like to see him go here, that ain't happening. We ain't got no pieces. There's just nobody there.
No
at
pieces, no more picks.
Right. And look, I'm sitting there thinking like, oh yeah, we got another pick in this draft. Nope, it's the Thunder's pick. How do the OKC Thunder have so many picks? But hey, shout out to them.
Sam Presti, man.
They had a chance. We'll get into that in a second. Next, Joey, heading to you. If you had one sentence to talk about maybe Giannis leaving Milwaukee, what would it be? And where would you like to see him go?
I'm going to go with embarrassment of riches, and I'm going to talk about the Brooklyn Nets, because if he's going to go anywhere, it's going to be to Brooklyn, because you're talking about OKC, but a lot of people are forgetting that very quietly, Brooklyn's been stockpiling a lot. They've got something, I think last time I checked, it was 15 first-round picks and 13 second-round picks through 2031. So they've got enough pieces that if they really wanted to make a splash and try to make a contender, they have enough that they could go out and start building one. So if I had to, guess as to where he would go, it'd be Brooklyn. The question is does Giannis actually really want to go there? But I could see him playing well in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn would be a very
anybody play well in Brooklyn?
I mean, not historically,
but hey, I mean, like,
who knows?
Yeah, like Giannis is like
drafted what, 13 point guards?
Did they draft 13 point guards? That's crazy.
Well, no,
but it feels like it though, doesn't it?
Like 4. Like.
Yeah, well, I don't know what they got going on in Brooklyn.
They'll definitely passing the ball.
Yeah, it feels like ever since they came to Brooklyn, they swing at something and they miss, or it looks good on paper and it just never materializes. But hey, Giannis there could be the game changer. Jay, ahead to you. If you had one sentence here on Giannis potentially leaving Milwaukee to go somewhere else, what would it be and where would he go?
I like the aspect of a big market. So for me, it could possibly be New York, just because they're literally one piece from actually being a decent team. But I think he's like what James said. He's going to stay where he's at because, he's built that franchise back up to what it was when Big Dog Robinson was there. So, I mean, that's what it is. As far as the Nets, oh, God, I think of the Nets, and it makes me think of, like, the Mets. They swing and they strike. Francisco Lindor has been nothing but disappointing. It's like you go there just because the bank's nice and it's got good money.
And he's somehow a starter over De La Cruz, but we're not going to get into that because that might make Joya just a little bit upset, especially when you compare the numbers and you see that De La Cruz is beating him in everything except for one category. But hey, I digress. I'm not here to fight that.
I specifically avoided at the very end of the show when we give our hot takes and stuff.
We'll
I
talk
specifically
then.
avoided talking about the All-Star game for lots of reasons, but that is one of them. Yes,
understood. We'll wait until that. We'll wait until that time. Next one on one sentence. It says 5 stars, but don't pay attention to that. Next thing on one sentence. Let's talk about the new champions that have been crowned over the last couple of weeks. The Oklahoma City Thunder are the 2025 NBA champion, and the back-to-back Florida Panthers winning the Stanley Cup for the second straight year. It has been a really good, prosperous time in the NHL for Florida teams. Who would have thunk that the Tampa Bay Lightning a couple of years ago, almost winning 3 in a row before my boys put a stop to that, but I'm not hyping them too much. But they had back-to-back championships, and then we see the Panthers win back-to-back championships here in the last couple of years. So I'll start off with our resident hockey expert, Joey. Your thoughts on both the Panthers and the Thunder winning the championship. What is your one sentence, sir?
Well, I'll start with hockey, and we'll talk about how angry I am about the Carolina Hurricanes getting knocked out once again by the stinking Florida Panthers. But no, credit to the Panthers. I mean, they've done a really good job at building a sustainable franchise down there, and we're talking possible dynasty at this point. We said a lot of that when we were talking about the Tampa Bay Lightning and their run until, your boys did their thing. But I mean, they have built a great program down there in Florida, and my God, they went into that series and they shut down Edmonton like it was nobody's business. I mean, it was absolutely insane. Edmonton stood no chance. They got a couple lucky bounces and took it to Game 6, but at the end of the day, like, that whole series felt like it was going to be done in 4. And then as far as the NBA, my God, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
It's a lot.
Him and his cousin, man, they get me every time. Although I did love in Blacksburg whenever he would shoot a 3, Nikhil, Alexander, Walker. Yeah, anyway, but like, he proved that he is it. He's the it guy. And he really did prove to the entire NBA that he's worth taking notice of. I mean, that entire team came out of nowhere this year. They were way ahead of schedule. They did things that nobody thought, was going to happen this year. And so hats off to them. Hopefully they have some sustained success, but that we'll see.
We'll see. I guess we'll see. Jay, we head to you next. What are your thoughts on the current new major sport champions?
SGA finally got the recognition he deserves, and he did what Kevin Durant couldn't get done in OKC. But to be honest, if Hildebrand, whatever the hell, I probably said it wrong.
Hey, they got a lot of complicated names on that team.
Doesn't tear his, Achilles. Are we not talking about the Pacers? Because I mean, the Pacers made it a hell of a lot deeper than a lot of us gave them credit that they would make it. I thought it would be like maybe a 5-game series at most, and they went down to Game 7. So if they can make it back to back, or maybe even a 3-peat, SGA is going to be a superstar for a while, the way he plays. And I really enjoy it because my son-in-law is a Thunders fan and has been since they moved there. And I was sad because I was hoping to get to see my Cavaliers against them, but my Cavs shit the bed to the Pacers. Sorry, I can't say that. Sorry.
What about the Panthers, man, and their run to a championship?
Something's got to be in the Florida ice, the way they freeze it, because I mean, they keep getting championships down there, dude. The Oilers, every year, Canada gets hope that one of their teams will do something great, and then it dissipates.
It's crazy how it happens, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I went into that series thinking that this is gonna be the Oilers' time, Canada's finally gonna get their chip. But there was a part of me that knew just a little bit better about that. And as the Florida Panthers proved, they are they're once again the champs. James, we head to you. What are your thoughts on the new Crownly champs in the major sports?
So one sentence would have to be start of a dynasty. Again, quick, we'll take it to hockey because, again, I have not watched the sport since the great Charlie Conway retired from the Ducks. But Florida went back to back. Ducks fly together, man. Florida going back to back, definitely a hard feat to accomplish. Next year they'll see if they can get 3 in a row. We'll see how that goes for them. Switching it to the NBA, man, I think honestly we could see the beginning of a dynasty with the Oklahoma City Thunder, especially if J-Dub, Shea, and Chet all stay healthy and continue to grow and develop. Not to mention they still have a chest of draft picks that Sam Presti has loaded up for them. I know with the new apron and tax rules as far as the salary cap, it can get a little dicey. But if OKC can keep this core together and they continue to grow and develop, they could have a nice little juggernaut on their hands for the next couple of years. But we'll see what happens. But it was definitely exciting to see a team win their very first championship ever.
Yeah, and that's the thing, seeing them, accomplish that was really cool. And we knew it was going to be one of the two. We knew it was either going to be a brand new champion in the Indiana Pacers, or we knew it was going to be a brand new champion the Thunder. And some people, if you're a hardcore Seattle Supersonics fan, like, oh, wait a minute, They've got a championship in Seattle. Well, when they left, they had to promise to leave all of that Seattle stuff behind just in case Seattle ever got a franchise again. So with that new arena being built up there, I believe for hockey, there could be a chance that the NBA could be knocking on Seattle's door here soon. Look, great job there, fellas. Congratulations to the new champs. Now we're going to go ahead and swing to our fire starters. We got a lot of interesting NFL news to talk about.
Roundabout way, Paul George finally got a championship in some way.
Right. All right. So we're going to start off our fire starters with the big trade that went down in the NFL. We saw Jalen Ramsey. For a split second, we thought, man, what a defensive backfield they're going to have there in Pittsburgh. You're going to have Fitzpatrick and Jalen Ramsey together. That's going to be phenomenal. Well, it didn't last long, maybe like 20 minutes. Or maybe not even that, maybe like 5 minutes, and we found out later that Fitzpatrick was involved in the trade, sending him back to the Dolphins. So like he spent maybe a year and a half, maybe a year in Miami before getting traded here, and now he is back in Miami in a very, very interesting move for Miami. Also, let me not forget Jonnu Smith, who had a really good year last year for the Dolphins, comes in and challenges Mr. Washington and our man on Fairmouth out there to be the number one tight end. They got 3 tight ends on this team, so it'll be very interesting. James, I'll start with you first. What are your thoughts on this trade between the Dolphins and the Steelers?
Honestly, I think this reeks of desperations for both teams involved in this trade. If you're Pittsburgh, it honestly feels like Mike Tomlin, Arthur Smith, all those guys are on their last leg at this point. Tomlin being a defensive guy, you bring in an established vet like Jalen Ramsey that we know can help make the defense better. I feel like he'll probably play some nickel and some safety to kind of replace Minka. And hopefully that'll be enough to get Pittsburgh into the playoffs and win a playoff game, or else I think this might honestly be Tomlin's last year at this point. And then bringing in Jonnu Smith, I think this is Arthur Smith's last chance to show that he can get the offense going in Pittsburgh, which honestly I don't believe he can do. He's got another tight end. We know he loves having more than one tight end. I'm pretty sure we're going to see Jonnu Smith lined up in the backfield as a running back, and instead of just handing it off to the actual running back, it's going to be some sort of screenplay to Jonnu, and it's going to go for an interception, because that's what Arthur Smith offenses always seem to do, or at least they did in Atlanta. I mean, no Derrick Henry, no success if you're Arthur Smith. So
what's wrong, Darrell? You all right?
Because it sounds like James going through some trauma, bro.
For real.
If you have seen how Arthur Smith coaches an offense, it is definitely traumatizing. You will have a number one option at wide receiver, even a second option at wide receiver. No, we're going to throw it to the backup's backup tight end. And he's going to be wide open. And no, he's not. It's actually going to be covered, and it's going to be an interception going the other way. So, Arthur Smith, definitely creative, doesn't get the job done. And if you're the Dolphins, I feel like you just kind of needed to do something. I mean, they said, Ramsey wasn't interested. My man is showing up late for meetings. He's making $20+ million. If you don't want to be there at that rate, you don't need to be there.
Right.
So Minka gets to come back for Dolphins term 2.0. When he left the first time because it sucked. It might be the same thing again, but who knows? It'll be interesting to see.
The Dolphins may low-key be a team this year that coach is on the hot seat. You wouldn't think he would be, but it's been a really weird situation in Miami. Jay, we head to you, brother. What are your thoughts on this trade?
I'm just trying to make it make sense, because Fitzpatrick actually played like we thought he would with his draft position when he was with the Steelers. I think his first year in Pittsburgh, he had 5 interceptions, and he had 0 when he was with the Dolphins. And now he's going to welcome back to mediocrity, But, you look at some of the free agents along with this trade that they brought in for their secondary. Juan Thornhill, they brought in from Cleveland. Darius Slay, they brought in for Philly. And then Jalen Ramsey. So all Super Bowl winners are now in the Steelers secondary. So maybe they're just looking for some tutelage. But how many times is Jalen Ramsey going to get traded, man?
Yeah, especially as a guy who's considered a top cornerback in the league.
Right.
You know what? It's giving Darrell Revis vibes, because remember, Revis was on the move quite a bit for somebody. He's a Hall of Famer. I'm not knocking Darrell Revis. It's a great first name, by the way. Great first name. I'm just saying that when I look at it, I say like, wow, he has really he got, it's gonna sound bad, passed around. But he did get a Super Bowl out of that. He made a lot of money. People kept saying he kept making a lot of money, and Ramsey's like he's following the Darrell Revis thing. Yeah, it's crazy.
Makes you want to know if it was kind of a cap dump also, because with Juno Smith getting traded, and you had Darnell Washington. I remember 2 years ago, he was the talk of the combine by the numbers he was putting up. They're comparing him to Gronk with Julio Jones speed, and then he gets drafted and does nothing.
Yeah, it's been a little.
And he's a hell of a blocker, though.
Yeah.
He just walks out there and blocks people.
It's like, yo, what's going on? Like, he's just there. My man is just there. Joey, we head to you, man. What are your thoughts on this Steelers-Dolphins trade?
I think that you guys are looking at it for just face value, and you got to zoom out and look at the big picture. Think about who we'll start offensively with the tight end situation. They have Aaron Rodgers. My dude is coming off of a major injury. He's not going to want to be able to throw it deep all the time. So you're going to need a lot of short intermediate routes. He's got that now in Jonnu Smith. Also, just to point out, Jonnu Smith has been coached by Arthur Smith not once, but twice. And so now he's getting a third time around. And so he already knows the system and he can fit in really easily. So with that being said, offensively, you bolster a little bit. And then defensively, like Jay was saying, now you've got a very veteran secondary. A secondary who, in my opinion, is going to be one of the nastiest in the NFL if they can stay healthy. And so, when you put all of it together, you add a Aaron Rodgers, you add DK Metcalf, you add, all of these different pieces. I mean, the Steelers are kind of looking like, Super Bowl or bust. And so I get to I get James's point of it seems desperate, but if you zoom out and look at the full picture, it could be one of the most aggressive off seasons that the Steelers have had in a while. And so if it is, kind of a swan song, get it together or you're out for Mike Tomlin, at least he has the pieces to be able to do so, And so that's my whole thought process on it, is I think y'all are looking at it from a face value perspective. And if you zoom out, if it wasn't for the fact that Mike Tomlin has been subpar the last couple of years, people would be looking at this Steelers team and going, whoa, wait a minute. This is a good football team.
Yeah, I mean, I see the point there. The other thing with this team is, you made a good point where Tomlin has 18 winning seasons and no losing seasons, but they still haven't really materialized into what Steelers fans want. And Steelers fans have been pissed for a while. They want them out. And everybody else is like, bro, if we had Tomlin, we didn't even care. But no, right. they care. They care a lot about this. And so it's a really big year for him because, like you said, Joey, they're reaching far. They go get Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers already announced this is his last year. And as a Packers fan, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to go into this season lightly. As long as he stays healthy, he's going to put forth his best effort we've probably seen in years. Now, am I going to say he's going to be MVP Aaron Rodgers? No. But he's going to be probably the smartest Aaron Rodgers you've seen. And I would say if I had to give him an Aaron Rodgers, it's more like the Aaron Rodgers that we got the year before he won the MVP again, where he was starting to be trying to teach guys and kind of go with the way things. I think he's going to be very, very smart. And compared to, maybe the gunslinger that we've seen in the past. He almost has to be. This is the swan song for our guy. So it'll be very interesting to see. James, what you got, brother?
By week 4,
no.
To Joey's point, face value and zooming out. Face value by week 4 is going to be Aaron Rodgers rolling his eyes in the huddle over the play calls coming in from Arthur Smith. And instead of zooming out, it'll be zooming in to catch it. And then by week 8, there'll definitely be confirmed reports that Aaron Rodgers hates the offense that Arthur Smith is calling. Jonnu Smith has been,
he
lining
really
up in the
hating
slot,
on Arthur Smith
tailback.
right now.
They're running trips, tight end sets to the wide side of the field, and you're just
Oh
like,
my God.
What? Aaron's just like,
what is this?
What are we doing?
And look, and Jay, by week 12, Will Howard will be your starting quarterback with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, right.
Come on now. He was already getting the campaign.
Like this.
He said, you know what, guys, I'm retiring now.
Joey had me completely sold on everything that was going on until he said Aaron Rodgers. I'm sorry.
It's like it jogged the memory. It's like, wait a minute.
He's like, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
I was like, that guy is like half a French fry short of a Happy Meal. So.
That's funny. It's like Joey had you sold, and then he was like, wait a minute. Aaron Rodgers is there. Okay, that's all I needed to hear. That's all I needed to hear.
He's talking about how great this line is that he's behind, which the line the Steelers have is good.
Yeah.
But the Jets line is not shabby either. And he sucked last year with the Jets.
Yeah, and it was now.
But they didn't have Arthur Smith, though.
That's true. Now, number-wise last year, if you look at the numbers, Aaron didn't have a bad year number-wise. It was just everything else. It just didn't seem to click when they needed them, like when they needed him to be Aaron Rodgers, the one that they traded the Packers for. And made sure everything went that way. So, it'll be fun in Pittsburgh. I know Pittsburgh fans are excited. I know Pittsburgh fans like, look, when can this season be over so we can look for a real quarterback? Because that's kind of where it is right now for Pittsburgh, so we'll see. But Miami on the other end, you see this Dolphins team, and there's a lot on the line. There's a lot on the line for this Miami Dolphins team.
I forgot who's their quarterback.
Tua, man.
I know.
Who's their owner? Josh Allen.
Oh.
Hey, shout out to our girl. Shout out to our girl here in Stansfield. Got to give a shout out to my girl. She did a good job at centers, by the way. I thought it was good.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's solid. Wait till it come out. Don't go to the movie theater.
On Friday, so
Oh, perfect. You perfect. Yeah, wait for it. It was good. It was good, but no theater. You don't need to go to theater for it. Somebody said you want to go watch it again. I'm like, no, I'll wait. I enjoyed it, but I can wait. Let's go to our next topic here. We talked a lot about the Falcons, and we talked a little bit, and now we have 3 members of the NFC South in this panel. And we're going to talk about the team that that they probably don't care if they win, lose, draw. They can lose all the games if they care. And that's the New Orleans Saints.
That dude looks like Jim Irsay's brother.
Hey yo,
hey
yo, what's GM name? Is Mickey Rooney? Mickey, that's not Mickey.
Yeah.
Mickey Loomis. Mickey Loomis.
Yeah.
So all right, so we got Mickey Loomis here, and Kellen Moore is now the head coach of this New Orleans Saints team. New Orleans, they had a chance. They could have got Shedeur Sanders. They said no, we're good. They could have made some other moves there at QB, but they waited to the second round and they got the young man from Louisville, which when I saw his highlight tape, I was not, he's 45. But his tape wasn't great. I'm sorry, sir, but you're not out.
Go play quarterback for the Saints.
Are you right? You can go play quarterback for the Saints then.
Yeah, but I'll play left-handed and still be as good as that guy.
That's not good. So all right. So just what would you guys do with the Saints at the QB position right now? Obviously, it doesn't look promising. Is this a tank mode? What is it? What are you feeling? Jay, I'll start with you first. How do you feel about the Saints and where they are at quarterback?
Right now, you pick up the phone and you call New York and see what they want for famous Jameis.
Bring him back.
He's got a lot of fans and a lot of people on that team that still love him to let him throw that ball around. Spencer Rattler just looks like a knockoff of, what would have happened if you'd have left Patrick Mahomes in the dryer longer.
Okay. Okay. Wait a minute.
Yeah,
hey, that's crazy. Now, I did get to see Spencer last year when they played the Commanders, and it was ugly in the first half. It was ugly. Now in the second half, he played a little better.
He don't play
but it's
well
not a lot
under pressure, and with Kellen Moore's offense, it won't be good.
Oh man, look. The Saints could be picking first next year, and it's it would not surprise me one bit.
How much of a storyline would that be? Arch Manning drafted number 1 overall
to the Saints. Oh, look at that. Look
Yeah, I
at
can
that.
see Archie just blocking
Oh
all
my
that.
god! Oh my! Look, he's like, look, man. I don't know if I want you to go there. I was there. I was there. I don't want you there, son. We're not grandson. I can't let you do this. You remember the Aints? I was a part of that. I was the best thing that the Aints had.
I can see Archie just be like, just blaze your own path. Don't do it.
Man, please go somewhere else.
We're going back to Texas.
Anywhere else.
He's like, my helmet actually used to be just a paper bag.
So we heard from the Tampa Bay perspective. Let's head to to Carolina. Joey, what are your thoughts on the Saints and what they got going on down there at QB?
Look, man, I think they should just kind of ride the wave a little bit. Like, look, they don't have a great QB. They still got to figure some things out, and like you said, if they tank bad enough, they get, first round, and who knows if Arch Manning comes out there and, then they get a new QB. All I know is that my Carolina Panthers will continue to be terrible like they always are. It would be nice to have someone else at the bottom with me. We delight in sharing pain, and anyone else who can be as terrible as my Carolina Panthers, I'm here for it. So I will say this: Tyler Shaw, he has a good arm. The question is can he reel it in terms of accuracy? I do think that he has the most potential out of the two. I don't think that Spencer Rattler is going to be the next NFL, major insane QB. If he proves me wrong, great, cool, awesome, good for him. But on face value, I don't think he's going to be. I think your move is to go with Tyler and just kind of ride that wave and see where it takes you. If Tyler turns out to be a great QB, awesome. You found your next QB. If he turns out to be terrible, then you get to pick high in the draft next year and go get your guy.
Who else? And Jay, I know you know this. Who else is besides Archie, quarterback wise? Who's the next best thing out there that we're looking for potentially in the draft next year at QB? I know I'm missing somebody off the top of my head.
Lenore Sellers, the kid from South Carolina. Lenore Sellers.
No, but we
got Drew Aller from Penn State.
Yeah,
Aller could have came out this year, but he went back.
A lot of people like Aller. I don't like him under pressure. He gets rattled easily that way.
Nico could come out.
I'm trying to.
He might choose to leave UCLA.
Who?
He likes money. Nico
Emialiava.
He likes money. He likes moving around for money. He might do it.
He might do it.
Or at least his dad does.
Is he the one that
dad? Yo,
he was the one that left Tennessee. He was the one that left Tennessee to go to UCLA. They got a raise and they got a pay cut.
I was writing that whole article and I felt so bad for Nico because I was like, I could tell the more research I did that this was all his dad's doing. And I was like, this is a ball situation again.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
LeVar ain't never fumbled that bad. Nah, don't put that on LeVar. LeVar ain't never fumbled that bad.
Hey, man, he
never lost.
He got close. So, look.
Close to fumbling and fumbling is two different things.
Look, all I'm saying is that I don't think that was all Nico. But
it was a dad.
Nico is a very, very talented quarterback, and I could see him making a splash in the NFL. So that one's a good poll.
It's interesting. Now, before we go, James, we swing to you, brother. We go to the Atlanta Falcons side. Well, I know you don't care about these guys at all, but what would you do at quarterback for the New Orleans Saints if you had that opportunity, sir?
So I ain't gonna lie to you, man. You are right. I don't give a damn about the situation. But looking at the situation at hand, you got Jake Haener, who is 26 years old right now. Tyler Shuck, who's 25 years old and is a rookie, but I don't know how. Like my man was in college long enough to have a doctorate, tenure, probably a pension and some more stuff. And then you got Spencer Rattler, who I think is like the longest tenured quarterback on the team, but maybe somehow the youngest. It's weird in New Orleans right
now. Rattler's only 24.
Right, he's only 24. I think he's been there the longest.
Yeah.
But somehow he's the youngest. It's weird in New Orleans right now. The only thing you can honestly do if you're the Saints is pray. I mean, they might just have to roll with the hot hand each quarter or each drive at this point, and just see what they get. Tyler Shuck, he has the physical tools, but like Joey was saying, his accuracy seems to be off the mark. And I ain't gonna lie, by 45, if you're not accurate, I mean, I doubt you get it at that point.
About 45.
Jake Hayner, we don't know a whole lot other than what I think he was at Fresno State. He made it. I think he had a couple spots here and there. And then we saw Spencer, like Jay said, he looks terrible in the first half, kind of picks it up in the second half. Maybe the second half of the season, he's their guy. I don't know, but if you're the Saints, just pray and hope that you land somebody next year in the draft.
Yeah, that's what it seems like right now.
The other quarterbacks to look that might come out is Clay Kubnick from Clemson and Garrett. I can't even say his last name. The LSU quarterback.
Oh yeah, Nussmeier.
There you go. Thank you.
All those guys. Who would really want to go to New Orleans right now?
I mean, look, Nussmeier's already there, so you might as well just rile up the street. I mean, he knows what it's about, right? Like he's there.
Hey, money talks. That's the main thing, man.
Touche. So New Orleans, what my panel is saying here is, you're out of luck, and we're sorry. But I tell you who's not sorry. The three individuals that are on the panel, they want you to
none
go.
None of us are sorry, man.
They want you to go 0-17.
0-18.
Next, let's swing over to the NBA free agency. NBA free agency has started off hot. We've seen some trades or offseason in general, but we've seen some trades. We've seen a lot of crazy stuff go on in the NBA free agency / offseason so far. We've seen quite a bit. We've seen quite a bit. Not a lot of big names in this free agency class. Maybe not like last year when you had LeBron and you had some other people that were out there that like were bigger names that, I think, Harden got signed back, but that was probably about it. He got an extension and whatnot. So not a lot of big names, but just your thoughts on the NBA free agency. James, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts on NBA free agency so far and some of the offseason moves that you've seen?
Well, as far as free agency, it's been a little dull, but I think, again, that's due to the whole new way that the CBA works and the second apron. A lot of owners are not trying to pay that luxury tax anymore. But honestly, I think the more exciting moves have been the trades. You see Kevin Durant going from Phoenix to Houston. You see Michael Porter Jr. going from Denver to Brooklyn. And I think there's another trade, but like the trades, I think have honestly been a little bit more interesting and honestly really been how teams have been able to kind of build and reshape their rosters this offseason. I really like so far. I really like what the Nuggets have done, kind of shipping out some older pieces, bringing in some younger guys, some more shooting, signing Tim Hardaway Jr., bringing back Bruce Brown, who was there when they won the title, adding Cam Johnson to replace Michael Porter Jr., who two guys that play a similar role and have a similar play style to a degree. And so they're kind of reshuffling the deck to hopefully still compete for a championship with Nikola Jokic, because he is still the best player in the league at this point, and he still can compete for titles. It's just making sure he has enough guys around him to help facilitate and get the ball and help make shots when needed. So I really like what Denver has done. And man, from a Chicago Bulls perspective,
be gentle.
I'm just waiting to see how all this pans out, man. I mean, it's rough right now. Josh Giddey still has not come to agreements on a new deal yet. He's restricted. But the good thing is everybody else is so broke, they can't pay him the money he's probably looking for unless there's a sign and trade. So, that's looking up for us. We traded another player for pennies on the dollar, or I think for Alonzo Ball, we got Isaac Okoro, a bag of Famous Amos.
Wow.
And some Bazooka Joe. And honestly, I'm more excited about the Bazooka Joe and the Famous Amos. We did draft some players because we finally had some draft picks. We took Noah Essengay. Interesting to see how that's going to go, seeing how he plays the same position as the kid we took last year, Modest Buzelis. So that I don't know if they're going to play on the court at the same time or how Chicago is going to work that, because it's Chicago. And, man, we'll see. We'll see who else get traded for bubblegum, because the front office just doesn't know the timing for when to execute a trade. It hasn't lined up yet.
That's great. That's so great. Well,
and you got Isaac Okoro from us.
See, Jay was listening. The bubble gum and the famous Amos was so exciting. He
Hey,
forgot
you know
that I
what?
already
I'll
mentioned
give
that we got Isaac
You
Okoro.
can chew the
And
bubble gum, and I'll give you back Ball.
That's great. So Ball, that's what that was going to be one of my questions. So Ball is in Cleveland now.
he's in Cleveland, but Jay, you gotta hope that he stays healthy.
Yeah,
That's
to
why
get
I
back
said
to
go
the
ahead and
airport to
enjoy
get
that
back
bubble
to
gum and just get
Cleveland.
back.
Now, I will say this one thing you said about Denver. I do like the Cam Thomas trade because he played really well when he was in Brooklyn. And I think, sometimes people say, well, there was so much more on him. I think going to, Denver where the spotlight is not on him as much will really help him out. So I'm intrigued to see how that goes there. Joey, I head to you next, man. What are your thoughts on NBA free agency so far and all season moves?
So, I'm not one to deny the fact that I don't pay attention to the NBA during the season, let alone the off season. But I was doing a lot of, research into, a lot of the moves and like what could make the most impact. And I first thing that caught my mind was the Atlanta Hawks. Like, honestly, they've added a ton of pieces. Call back to earlier, my boy Nickeil Alexander-Walker signed that deal to go play for them, and they added, Porzingis, they added Luke Kennard. Like, I mean, they're really starting to kind of build a core down there in Atlanta, and I feel like that could be something interesting to watch. On the other hand, calling back to my Minnesota roots, it's kind of hard to see them just, fall off the cliff. They're right there holding hands with the Chicago Bulls and Meadow right to the cliff.
And you got stars. You got Ant.
You do got Ant.
Nazir Reed.
That's true. That's true.
You got Julius Randle. We got Josh Giddey. Modest Buzelis. Famous Amos. Bazooka Joe. And two guys we just drafted. Kobe White. I will take Kobe. Kobe's decent. We just got to get a little bit more development. But yeah.
Now that's the Chicago skyline too.
Yeah, well, and then my Hornets aren't doing jack. So like I was like, yo, give me something to talk about.
Anything.
Nothing.
So before I go to James, I do want to ask you about Billy Donovan, because Rob on the Rob Johnson Sports Show, check it out, Let's Make It Sports Network. Rob talked about this move. Were you thrilled that Billy Donovan is still there in Chicago, or do you think they should have moved on?
I think honestly they probably should have moved on, but you shouldn't did a whole clean sweep. If you're going to move on from Billy Donovan, you move on from the front office as well, that being Arturas Conosover and Mark Eversley, because they've all been a package deal. And once you extend the first two in Conosover and Eversley, we kind of knew Donovan was going to get extended at that point because they're a package deal. Now they'll actually choose the direction of not rebuilding, but retooling, seeing what they have in the younger guys versus this whole push your chips to the middle to try to win now, when all we ever did was make the freaking play in and lose to Miami. Now we get a chance to actually see if we can develop some young guys in Chicago, to see if Billy Donovan can actually develop young talent. So I'm excited to see if that happens. But deep down, I kind of do wish they'd have just cleaned house. But that's not the Reinsdorf way. He pays people out their contracts. Nobody's getting free money on Jerry's watch.
I'm telling you, man, what a way to run the business. My man said, look, no matter what. Yeah, now look, we will see if Chicago could, make some leaps. Now, I know I said to you a while ago, look, I wanted y'all to win that game. I did not want Miami to win.
They did not listen.
They did not listen. I was upset. I was like, I need you to lose because we need to rebuild. I need Pat Riley to be like, well, maybe this is not working. But he's still sitting there like, we're going to be all right. And as much as I didn't want Durant, it still would have made me feel good knowing that they tried. And they tried, but then they didn't want to give away key young pieces, which I can respect, because there's a couple of those guys. Like, I really like Ware. I think Ware is going to be a really good talent in the league. They didn't want to get rid of what's my man's name?
I think we could have had him in Chicago.
Yeah, I love Ware, so they didn't want to get rid of Ware, and it was somebody else today. They didn't want to. Jokic, the other. They didn't want to get rid of him. And I didn't want to get them to get rid of him neither. So like, that's my thing. Like, you make those trades, you're going to lose key pieces. So I understand, that part. Jay, heading to you, what are your thoughts on the NBA free agency, brother?
A lot of what I've seen is that draft picks mean nothing. because with the one and done stuff, you never know. Because look, like what the Lakers are doing, they were able to get Ayton to come back, but this is a guy we talked about a couple of years ago that we thought would be a superstar in this league, and he might play here or there, or Obi Toppin for the Pacers. He was putting up numbers in college that you're just like, so the one thing that I was surprised about in the draft was Jeremiah Fears falling so far. I love the way he shoots the ball, and the fact the Pelicans were able to swipe him up and add him to Zion. I think that'll give another outside shooter and let Zion just keep eating down underneath, literally.
It's funny that you bring up Aiden. Aiden did have it's all right numbers, you know what I'm saying? But like you said, it's been something where it's like it's not what we thought, the number one pick overall would have been in the league. And it's been a little bit of a rough go. Now, a lot of people were hyped because it was like, oh, he's going to LA, you got LeBron, you got him, you got Luka. But then there's the whispers that LeBron may be on the way out here. Like there could be a potential. They brought Luka in for a reason. They knew that that this big deal was going down with Jenny Buss, and we know how and we know how close LeBron is with the family. So it's one of those things where maybe LeBron's on the way out and they're rebuilding completely, and it's obviously going to be around Luka here with LeBron.
Where do you think Bron and his hairline will go?
Oh, as long as it's not. Hold up. Here we're good. I don't want to see him go there.
I hope it's there.
I don't. I hope it's Cleveland. I hope he goes home and finishes up where he started.
Waiting those 2 hours. I'm going to take my talents to Long Beach.
I was still mad. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was mad about that myself. But because now as a fan, I truly wanted this to be the 3. And don't laugh at me. I'm happy for the championship.
You got the rings.
I got the rings. So I wanted Bosh, which I got. I wanted Wade to stay, and I wanted Joe Johnson. That's who I wanted at the time. I thought if this would be great, and we don't have to have LeBron. Now, in hindsight, LeBron gets a championship, so you can't be so upset about that. But yeah, that was my initial thoughts. And look, I'll always respect LeBron for the championships, but I don't want him back in Miami. So it will be interesting to kind of see where it goes. Before we move to the main flame, real quick, if you saw LeBron go elsewhere, where would you like to see him go? Jay, I'll go with you first.
Overseas.
Okay, James.
You know I don't like LeBron.
Yeah, right, James.
I would rather have Kelly Olynyk.
Kelly Olynyk. Okay, James. Where do you see LeBron going if this does happen?
All right, 1, I don't think it is, but 2, LeBron is still chasing the ghost that is Michael Jordan.
Yes.
Why not go to the house that Jordan built?
I knew you was gonna say that.
And win a championship there.
Hey,
we're not doing anything anyway. We're not doing anything anyway. Now, if you could somehow make this trade work to where the Bulls could keep some of the young, promising pieces,
right?
Like I'd like to keep Modest. I'd like to keep Giddey. The new kid we just drafted, I'd like to see what that turns into. And everybody else, LA, you can definitely take Patrick Williams with you. I'll help you pack his shit up.
It's like, sir, those are my bags.
If LeBron could somehow go to Chicago and they actually win games and a championship,
Toll Road would be too much for him.
That wouldn't be bad.
I'm cool with that. It's like respectable again. That's all you ask for.
He's got to do it in number 6 because we know 23 is not available, but it's not a bad deal.
True. Yeah, that would be interesting because but I don't think they can wear 6 anymore too. Didn't they retire Dr. J?
LeBron's like the only one that's like grandfathered in.
So he can still wear it. Okay, all right.
I think he can still wear it.
Cool. Joey, if you had to pick a spot,
Look, I mean, if we're chasing Jordan anyways, let's just go right to the end since we're retiring anyways and head to Charlotte.
There you go.
Look, I'm just saying, if we're going to retire, that might work. Retire soon anyways.
It could work.
I'm just saying.
LeBron, LaMelo, Miles Bridges.
The Wizards.
I would say now the Wizards. Now here's the thing: the Wizards
he ain't going to DC.
Yeah, he's not going to DC.
He will go overseas before he goes to DC.
He was like,
I
heard that. I heard that the Juventus team over in.
He said, "Oh, they paying over in Saudi Arabia."
I heard the Real Madrid.
Cash out.
Because we got a Real Madrid basketball team. I'm going to go there.
No, all jokes. If he does go anywhere, I could see him heading back to Cleveland.
Yeah.
But like genuinely, I think he's just gonna retire a Laker.
So
Like, I don't
Hey,
see him
LeBron
going
and
anywhere.
Bronny
I
on
feel
their
like
way to
he's gonna
Cleveland.
retire a Laker. Like, I mean, like it doesn't make sense for him to go back to Cleveland because when he left Cleveland, he said he was done. Like, good, peace out. Like he's not gonna go back to Miami. Like nowhere else really seems like it'd be a good fit. So
he could play in the Euro League in Ukraine.
All right, man.
All right, but Jay, look.
Croatia.
Would you take LeBron and Bronny
Oh no.
for Evan Mobley,
What?
Lonzo Ball,
What?
and Darius Garland?
What do you want him to jump off a bridge? What are we doing here?
Hey James, be happy.
Bronny's
Be
going
happy
with
we're on
him.
both.
You know Bronny's going
I'm
with
gonna
him.
send you my message.
I'm
what I actually think.
not gonna say it on the air, but it's gonna be a personal message for what you just said. Now, before we move to the main flame, and one, Joey, you do have something to smile about in Minnesota because the Minnesota Link are 14-2, killing it right now. Watch out for the Link. They got a girl Napier out there. She's killing the game. So you got that. But if I had to choose, I would say the Knicks. And the Knicks have enough pieces to where they can kind of work this way. Now, I don't know how he'll feel Mike Brown again, but hey, I mean, he does have a relationship with Mike Brown, and Mike Brown know how he works. That's all I'm saying. If you're going to end your career with somebody, why not end the career with the coach that you begin your career with? That's all I'm saying. Let's go to the main flame. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got some fun topics here for the main flame. One of them I'm really intrigued to see what everybody's going to say. But the first one that we're going to do is the NFL top 3 rookies that you feel like will make an impact here on this NFL season coming up. So I'm real intrigued to see where you guys kind of go with this one because there are some really good rookies out there. And I just kind of want to know how you guys are thinking and where you think these 3 top rookies will be. So I'll start with Joey. Joey, give me your top 3 NFL rookies that you think will make an impact heading into the season.
Well, the main one is Ashton Genty. I mean, because my God, the dude is an absolute monster. I mean, the fact that he didn't win the Heisman is absolutely criminal. And I will, live and die on that hill because, in my opinion, he was the best player in college for not just, last season, but, prior years. But genuinely, like, even though he went to the Raiders, I still genuinely feel that that's a guy who can change an offense. I mean, we're talking like probably the next Derrick Henry, in terms of like running backs who can truly change and impact an offense. I think that he is by far the one who's going to make the most immediate impact. The 2 other guys who I could see making a pretty good impact is Amarion Hampton. He went to the Chargers. I think that he could play a really good role in the offense that the Chargers are building. And then Travion Henderson, I genuinely think that like he could help the Patriots a lot. The Patriots do have a long way to go in terms of being relevant. But yeah, I think out of those 3, Ashton Genty's by far going to make the biggest impact out of the 3. But I do think that all 3 fit well where they went and could help those teams be successful this season.
I like the choices, all running backs. I like it though. And Genty, a monster. I mean, all the guys you name are great. But there's something about Henderson in New England I think that's really going to work.
Right.
He's already showed some flashes in the camps and stuff like that, and people are really like what they're seeing from him. Jay, I'm heading to you, man. Top 3, brother. Top 3 rookies that are going to make an impact.
I really like what Joey had to say. I like the running back class of this draft just because of the impact I think they'll have. So I got Amarion Hampton to the Chargers because Harbaugh loves his check downs and screen plays, and he definitely uses the running back a lot, especially when he was at that team up north. No, the next one for me is Caleb Johnson with the Steelers because there's no longer any more Harris is not there. He's with the Chargers where he won't get much work, but running with that line, and Aaron Rodgers is still good with the play action pass. I mean, it'll open up that offense huge. So, but I think the biggest impact one I got is the Bears, Colston Loveland. Look what Sam Laporta did when Ben Johnson was the OC there and with the Lions. And now it gives Caleb Williams will become the first Bear ever to throw for 4,000 yards.
And that might actually happen. Wow, wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something? James, head to you, man. The top 3 rookies in your opinion that's going to make an impact in the NFL this season.
So I had a name similar to everybody. I liked Marion Hampton too, but since we've heard him twice already, I'm gonna go with another running back, Quinshon Judkins from Cleveland.
Ah, you took mine. You took mine. Oh, okay. Go ahead. Continue.
The one thing the Browns have been successfully able to do is run the football. And Judkins was coming in from Ohio State, where he split carries last year with Henderson, so the legs are probably a little bit fresher than some other running backs around the NFL. So I do like what Judkins can potentially do in Cleveland. Another guy that I do like, left tackle Josh Simmons for the Chiefs. We know the Chiefs need O-line health. We saw how in the Super Bowl they were just decimated up front at the point of attack. Like, I think Patrick Mahomes is still having night terrors and sweats from seeing the defensive line for Philadelphia just eating up his offensive linemen and sacking them again and again and again. So if Josh Simmons coming off that knee injury is healthy and can get the job going, I think he could be the left tackle of the future out in Kansas City. And then last one's a little bit of a homer pick. I'm going with James Pierce Jr., the edge rusher for the Falcons. Again, he was the first-round pick we took this year. But of the two, he's definitely the more polished one right now as far as a pass rusher, as far as a pure pass rusher, getting to the quarterback. That's the one thing we need in Atlanta. I don't know who the hell said that, but you're wrong. In Atlanta right now, somebody that can get to the quarterback, probably whoever's quarterback yelled out that DS a couple seconds ago, your quarterback's going to be eating dirt.
Yeah.
You really think he's going to beat Tristan Wirfs? Good luck.
He's going to beat Tristan Wirfs. It's going to be so bad. Remember the Titans? When Wood Harris did, you better make yourself comfortable down there. Real comfortable. I'm talking about like that kind of beating.
Hey, that's funny. Jay told him
it's coming.
Because Jay's never said who it was, and Jay was like, "Yeah, you think Tristan Wirfs is going to do this?" And I said, "Hey, he just told him himself before he could have hit it the rest of the show." But
I mean, I already knew it was Jay.
He already knew. I already knew. So, all right. So these are the players I have now. One in a little bit of trouble right now. That's Maxwell Harrison, because I thought like before all of the stuff went down here, and look, the man is innocent until proven guilty. And I think it's weird that this stuff popped out 4 years after the fact. Those are the ones you always have to watch out for. If I'm not saying that it did not happen, because it could have happened. But when it's been a couple years like that, those are the ones that you have to just kind of reserve judgment until you see what happens. So, but if everything is cleared, I really think Harrison could have a really good impact with Buffalo up there and really, give them that help in the secondary that they need. The next one, Juggins was my other pick. I like everything James said was correct. Like, I felt like they know how to run the football, and no matter what, they're going to have, their line has been solid, at least running the football. And I think that he was going to really make an impact there. So he was the other one. Now, the other one is my homer pick, and I'm going with Savion Williams from TCU, only because the Packers love to run the end around. And he did a lot of that in college. So they were trying to find their Deebo Samuel. That's what the look was for.
They
for
better
the Packers.
feed him.
Yeah. And I think that the way the Packers love to run that end around, because they use Jaden Reed with that a lot in the last couple of years. And so, they want to get away from using Jaden in that situation. They need a bigger, a stronger guy. Williams is 6'4". I think 200 and something.
Bigger, stronger guy usually is hurt.
Right. So they're going to go with this guy and try to see if he can be the one that kind of produces that thing. So I think he's going to be a little bit of a Swiss Army knife, or their version of Deebo Samuel. So that's just my hopes and dreams on that one. Just my hopes and dreams. So there it is, your impact rookies here in the main plane. This is the one that I've been waiting for. This next topic, ladies and gentlemen. This next one. All right. You got your teams. You all know who the teams you love and the teams you grew up with and the teams that you became, best friends with and all that fun stuff. But if you had to divorce your sports teams, if you had to say, you know what, I'm done with you, who would your new team be? Who would you select to be your new team? And no judgment here. You know, I mean, if you whoever you select, that's your decision. So I don't know who wants to go first. I'm actually gonna give somebody the opportunity to go first. Is there anybody who wants to go first before I choose here?
I'll go.
James says he'll go. James, if you're divorcing your teams, who are your new teams?
All right, so if I'm divorcing my teams, we'll start off with hockey because there's no way I'm divorcing the Mighty Ducks that Disney bought. So I gotta ride with them, man. I'm a rock with them. I know they're all retired at this point, but there's no way I'm picking against the Ducks.
Hilarious.
MLB. If I had to choose a team, I'm going with the Dodgers. Not only because they won, but Jackie Robinson, first, African American player in the major leagues. I'd have to go with the Dodgers. I know they're not in Brooklyn anymore, but I'd pick the Dodgers. And now we got Ohtani, we got Mookie Betts, got Freddie Freeman. They got a pitcher whose last name I do not know and can't pronounce at the moment. And we're probably looking to win another one this year. Ohtani's not going to get paid till 2052, so we're good. We're good out here in LA. Sun's always shining. So yeah, I'd have to go with the Dodgers.
You always say that because of wildfires.
Wow.
Look. That is one challenge we face. We're working on getting some water for that. As far as basketball, if I had to divorce the Bulls, who would I divorce them for? I mean, the way the NBA works nowadays, like you have to go with a team that already has an established star, or a team that can at least win the lottery, because the Bulls damn sure can't. You know what? I'm gonna go with the Thunder, and that's just a bandwagon pick at this point.
At least you're honest. At least you're honest.
The core looks good. Already won a title, and they're bound to stay together at this point. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Thunder, and then the NFL.
Tough one.
If I had to divorce the Falcons, because I stuck with them after 28-3. I stuck with them when Vic broke his leg that year. I stuck with them when we were the number 1 seed, and we lost to the freaking Packers that year.
Sorry.
So I stuck with them through a lot. It's been a lot, and it's hurt. But if I had to divorce them, I'm not going too far. I'm staying on the East Coast, and that's another bird team. I'm going Baltimore. I like purple. Purple and black goes together. And I mean, Edgar Allan Poe, love my man, love his story. Edgar Allan Poe, the team was named after the Ravens after Edgar Allan Poe. So that plays into it as well. So yeah, if I had to divorce the Falcons, I'm moving my stuff to Baltimore.
Who knew James was such a poet? I'm not mad at that at all. Not mad at that at all. Joey, we'll head to you, man. If you had to divorce your squads, who are you choosing to be your new squads?
Look, I'm gonna take the low hanging fruit here, right? And I'm gonna pretty much just go back to the 2 years that I lived in the beautiful state of Minnesota. And if I had to divorce the teams that I love and adore, I'm just going to move my bags and just take all of them to Minnesota. This way they're all in the same spot and I don't have to worry too much. So like if I have to get rid of the Cubs, I'm going to go with the lovable losers that are the Twins.
Okay.
And there's a lot of, correlation there, right? The Cubs were the lovable losers for God knows how long. And now it's the
100
Twins,
years,
and so, we'll rock there. As far as football goes, I watch more NCAA than I do the NFL. And so like I like a strong, passionate fan base, which the Vikings have. And if y'all haven't been to that stadium yet, you should, because it is freaking nuts. And then like in terms of hockey, the Minnesota Wild are amazing. I've been to their games a couple of times.
I hate them too.
That stadium is incredible. And as far as the NBA, I kind of watch the Timberwolves from afar. I mean, they're hot trash net right now too, but we're it's fine.
But you do got Ant. Look, if all this, at least you got Ant for now, and that's something to smile. Man, I ain't gonna lie to you. You said the Vikings. I knew that once you say you packing it in a minute, I said, man, I ain't moving to Minnesota. That's rough. Vikings rough. The Wild, and I'm gonna tell you why I hate the Wild, but I think you would know, because there was a couple years that the Avalanche faced the Wild in game 7s on multiple occasions, and they lost. And I said, mother. That's how I felt about the Wild. So, tough choices, but I see you. I see the vision. Hey. Jay. Hey, I understand it. I understand it. You know, you got to go closer to home. Jay, we head to you, brother.
I
If
will
you
start
divorce
with
some of these teams, where you going with?
the NBA because first, if I have to divorce the Cavs, I would go probably right up to 75 to Detroit and be a Pistons fan just because,
Smart.
it's not that far to go.
And they're a good young team. They're a good young team too. So that's a good move. Good move.
And if I had to get rid of the Guardians, I probably would become, let's say Orioles, because I always loved Cal Ripken.
Okay.
He was the definition of, it hurts, but I'm going to play. Football, my Buccaneers. God, this hurts.
I'm about to say, I know it hurts. I'll say it's got to be rough.
This might be the hardest question I've had to answer on this show.
I kind of wanted to say my wife's team, but I hate that team, so
don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. No Arlington Desperados, bro. Don't do it.
I'll say the Pittsburgh Steelers because Jack Sawyer's there. Jack Sawyer is one of my favorite players from Ohio State, and I wished he'd have went anywhere else.
All right, Jay, I'm gonna throw this at you real quick. You
God.
walk away from Ohio State. If you had to walk away from Ohio State,
my wife asked me, I was like, what if I said Michigan? She's like, you will get so much hate.
Oh, you can't say Michigan.
It'd be Liberty. I would root
Liberty, okay,
because that's where Becca went. So.
Okay, I like that. All right, so, this is not tougher than I thought. So, hockey. I think if I wasn't a Avalanche fan, I'd probably definitely be a Capitals fan. Just because it's a closer team, and you kind of watch the Capitals from afar. I think I would go that route, even if I don't know. I know, man. I know that's the thing. I've been an Avalanche fan for so long now. If somehow, some way, and if they ever do it, and it's the Quebec Nordiques, or they bring Quebec back, I'm jumping back on the Quebec band. That's the reason why I became a hockey fan in the first place. Like. NHL 94, I was a Quebec Nordiques guy. So if that somehow happened, I would jump on that train. And maybe if not the Capitals, I would probably say one of the new teams. I'd probably go with the Seattle Kraken, just because. So I'll go there. Now,
their sweaters are sick.
They are sick, right. And I almost said Utah, but the Mammoths just doesn't. I don't know, man. I think they could have went a couple ways with the name and the Utah
It's
Mammoths.
Utah.
Right. It's snowy and
their basketball team's the Jazz. They don't play music in Utah.
That's where they make those Ricola commercials, bro.
Hey, bro, not the Ricola. All right, so for baseball, I've been a Mariners fan since I was 10. But if I was going to move elsewhere, I actually would be a Chicago Cubs fan. Because whenever I played in NL teams, because when I was growing up, the Cubs were like the lovable losers. Like they were, I was such a fan of them when they won the World Series. I was so happy for their fan base. And
no, you weren't. Not if you were an Indians fan.
No, that's right, not you. I am so sorry for trauma. So I would probably go there. And with the Boston Red Sox being a close second, because I was like, when they were going through the curse years, I was kind of and then when you think about those 04 teams with Ortiz and Manny and Veritek, and the passion himself, Mr. Johnny Damon, like when those, I was a really big fan of those Boston teams. So it would probably be between those two, but I would give the Cubs the higher. In the NBA, this is actually tough because I don't know where to go with this one. In the NBA, I probably would be I probably would go to the West Coast, and I would probably be I can't believe I'm saying this, a San Antonio Spurs fan. I like teams that are like not in the spotlight too much on I know. I was
West Coast.
I went West Coast, and as I was saying it, I was like, wait a minute, maybe I should pull back a little bit towards the middle. So but I like what they're building there. They got Wemby
is now the West Coast.
But I mean, look, they're technically in the Western Conference, so maybe I meant that subconsciously. So I'm gonna go with the Spurs, and my brother Perky will be happy to hear that. And then last but not least, the Packers. I would probably be a Commanders fan. And I know that sucks to say out loud, but I'd probably be a Commanders fan if I wasn't a Packers fan. I've been to more Commanders games than I've been to Packers games. So I might as well go to a place where if I'm gonna see my team play every week, I might as well sit there and either be pissed off every game or be excited after the game. So yeah, I would be a Commanders fan or a Redskin fan for those out there who don't want to call it, or Washington football team or Boston Braves, whatever way you want to call it. That other team that's up there in DC, I'd probably be a fan of them. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. So the divorce of final. And UVA, just to throw it out there because they pissed me off a lot. If I was going to get rid of UVA, I probably would go. Well, in basketball for a long time it would have been Georgetown, but because of the jerseys. But they're just not good now. And then in football, I've been a really big fan.
Come to the one inside.
Yeah, I know this is the one this is the tough one.
It's still in the state.
I will not do that.
Still in state.
There's no way I will go to the
Commanders Cup.
Not after all those years of heartache, man. There's no way. Not in.
What better way to fix it than to just come to the other side?
No, I'm just going to go to the West Coast for real.
Join the
time
Sith.
And become an Oregon Duck, and that's what I would do if under that case. I would be Oregon Duck. It's green and gold. I got to keep the green and gold mixed in there somewhere. All right, everybody, let's finish this thing up the right way, and let's put out the fire.
Fire, burn on. Fire, burn on. Fire. Legacy on fire.
Right, it is time. It is time to put out the fire. And this is another one where I usually like to see if anybody wants to go first. Does anybody else want to go first on putting out the fire here? Jay has raised his hand. Jay, go ahead and put out the fire, sir.
WNBA. Caitlin Clark is going to be there to stay. Learn to support her and stop making her a target. She is a pure player. And Sophie Cunningham going to take somebody out for free 99. So she's now the 5-foot enforcer. I like that the loyalty to stand up for a teammate. That's what I think sports is missing a lot of, is the fact of, being able, you mess with mine, I'm going to mess with yours. But, if some of the allegations from the refs and the league is true, that's wrong. That woman is putting butts in seats and basically saved the WNBA, because the last I heard, they're getting ready to put more teams in other cities now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's helping the sport so much. Let it be.
Yeah. Yep. You got Cleveland. Cleveland's returning. Portland. And then Philadelphia. So those are just a couple of the teams that they're bringing back. But why not the Houston Comets, man? I don't like Rob Johnson was on here be doing backflips because he don't know why the Houston Comets are not back in the league. I mean, we're talking about 4-time champs. And I think Detroit is also coming back. So yeah,
it's Swoops actually something to complain about.
It would give Swoops something to complain about. Now, shout out to Caitlin Clark. They did win the Commissioner's Cup the other night, so shout out to her. James, we'll go to you, man. Go ahead and put out the fire, sir.
Let's see. I'm going to take it back to the NBA because recently we had the NBA draft. And again, I feel like the NBA has to find a way to make the draft a little bit more marketable. Now they split it up and do it 2 nights for some reason. It's like, it's not that popular of an event that you guys need to split it up over 2 different nights. Again, after pick 5, you have no idea who anybody is anymore. The first time a lot of people are hearing these kids' names is when they do get drafted. So they don't do a good enough job marketing the draftees. They don't do a good enough job letting the fans know who these kids are, because a lot of them are one and dones. You might have watched them in college. You might not have. I mean, honestly, Cooper Flagg, Harper, even though Harper went crazy because his mom's was on stage killing it. But a story for another day. The mom, his mom was more popular than the draft was at that point. Like once mom got up on stage, she took over the draft. So maybe just put her on screen next year and you'll get even more ratings. But yeah, the NBA's got to find a way to fix the draft, and possibly even the lottery. But I only say that because the Bulls and the Mavs had the same record, and we had to flip for it, and we lost the flip, and we could have had 11, and then
you could have had
number
Cooper.
1, and then we could have had Cooper. So yeah, but fix your draft, Adam Silver. Fix it.
Well, I don't think you were getting Cooper Cup anyway, because once they traded my boy to LA, they was like, look, if you trade Luka to LA, we'll give you the number one pick in the
I mean,
draft. No matter what it
Jordan
is.
saved the NBA. Why can't we get another number one pick? Now, I ain't gonna lie, we fumbled the first one with Derrick. Well, Thibodeau messed up the first one with Derrick Rose.
That's why you out of a job now. That's why you out of a job now.
Why was he in the game? We're up 14. We're under 2 minutes. But why was he in the game? Maybe that's why we don't have another number one pick.
It's okay, man. Like, I'm sorry. It'll happen one day.
Look what happened with
It'll
Cleveland.
happen
They took
one
that guy
day.
from UNLV that I don't even think he's in the league anymore.
I mean, but usually Chicago hits on their top picks. You know, we had number 3 and we got Mike. We had number 1. We took Derrick.
We had Wiggins and
Let
LeBron.
us win the lottery at Silver. Like, how many years did Jordan save the league? Like, let us win the lottery. We can do something with that number one pick.
When
And
Chicago
you got what,
is popping,
AJ coming out next year, the kid
Yeah.
doing the BYU. We could use another 2 guard that can
Yeah.
actually play.
look, when
Let's win the
Chicago
lottery.
when Chicago is winning, that's good for the league, right? Come on, now, especially for the '90s babies, because I mean, hey,
Fix
there's a lot of '90s babies that are Chicago Bulls fans.
If you can get Cooper to Dallas, I think we can make a little something shake in Chicago, and it's a bigger market. Come on, dog.
yeah, they don't need them.
It's a win-win.
That team gonna be stacked next year. Joey, we head to you, brother. Go ahead and put out the fire, man.
As much as I want to talk about the All-Star game starters, no, I actually want to talk about the fact that Rob Manfred's already calling for an MLB lockout. Like, bro,
What?
dude, all I'm saying is, like, the labor negotiations don't even start until 2026, and he's already like given up and is like, yep, nope, we're gonna go to a lockout because, you know, these people can't get it together. And like, to a point, he is kind of right. But at the same time, if you look at the owner's side, like, you've got 2 major league teams playing in minor league ballparks. You've got teams that are tanking and they don't care. Ixtay, the Marlins. Yeah, I'm looking at you, even though I'm wearing your shirt, calling you out. The Rockies and the Pirates. God, the Pirates haven't. Fun fact about the Pirates: did you know that they haven't spent money on a free agent in like 12 years? They haven't been to the playoffs but like twice, and had a winning season but like twice in almost 20. Like,
Have they won more than 10 games yet?
They're not going to try. But like, hey, look, my point is that like these owners have let their teams go to such disarray that their attendance numbers are completely slacking. You're talking about a lockout for something that doesn't happen until 2026. Baseball is already in a state where they're losing fans left and right. Then you get to the All-Star game and you're not letting the best players start at Ellie De La Cruz. My dude is by far one of the most entertaining players to watch. And like, you're sitting here shooting yourself in the foot over and over and over and over again, and we can't seem to just put it all together to make an entertaining product. Like, that, credit where credit's due. The NBA may have a crap draft, but their product on the court is amazing. The NHL, for all of its flaws, is a great product on the ice. You talk about the NFL, it's one of the highest grossing, you know, sports in the world, and it genuinely, like, they don't have these issues. Like, when was the last time you heard about a lockout coming from the NBA, NHL, or NFL? You haven't. Like, and so to sit here and have MLB just be like, yeah, like, we're already giving up. Like, there's going to be a lockout. There's nothing we can do. Like, there's absolutely stuff you could do. You could get in a room and you could talk like normal human beings and do what's best for the fans. The reason Banana Ball, which, by the way, check out on Legacy Maker July 11th and 12th when they come to Salem, Virginia. I'll be there, and it'll be on here. There's a reason Banana Ball is taken off, and it's because they put the fans first. Everything that they do is fan-centric and is to make the fans happy. And I don't understand how that's such a hard concept. I mean, I get it. In today's money, all people really care about at the top is money and greed and making more and more and more and more. And it, you know, shoots fans and, you know, lower class people alike. And, you know, they just push us to the side and act like, you know, we don't matter. But at the end of the day, like, MLB has to do something. Otherwise, it's going to be the major 3 sports and not the major 4.
Ooh, I like. All right, everybody, that is it. The fire has been put out here on episode 77 of Legacy on Fire. Once again, I'd like to thank the esteemed panel of Mr. Jay Quimby, Mr. James Brown, and Mr. Joy Raymond, the 3 J's, ladies and gentlemen, here to bring us all the heat. And before we get out of here, James, anything you want to say before we go?
Man, great to be back. Hopefully the Bulls win the lottery next year. You
All
know,
he cares about. It's all he cares about. Please.
I mean, it'd be nice. You know, I mean,
Chances of the Bulls winning the lottery is James Pierce playing 12 games.
All right, now that ain't right.
Oh, he's gonna play 17, and I best believe your quarterback's gonna be on his back for 2 of them.
No,
Just he's my man.
Your
Said he's
quarterback's
just
gonna be
saying.
on his back for 2 of them.
This might be the
Baker's
most
gonna
unhinged
Baker's gonna spend his whole day
just,
just, God damn, the sky again. Lord, I'm tired of seeing the roof for Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Seagulls.
Joy, anything you want to say before we go?
Hey man, all I can say is I'm really excited. Like I said, Banana Ball is going to be here next week, and me and Katie will be there to cover it. I'm not excited to deal with the traffic that will be the Salem Fair and Banana Ball at the same time in the same place. It's going to be absolute chaos, and I'm not looking forward to that part. But on the other side of that, it'll be interesting to have something different on the network, and I think that'll be really cool for all of us. And it'll be really cool for me to experience it. And so I'm really excited about that. Also, just in general, this show has been awesome. And, like, subscribe, and comment so we can keep doing it. Good times.
Awesome. Jay, before we get out of here, anything you want to say, brother?
just take your time, appreciate your people, because we've seen too many people pass in the last couple of weeks. It's been crazy in mine and Darrell's world. So make sure you pick up that phone, send the text, or make that quick call to just say I love you and let them know what they mean, because you never know when the hourglass runs out.
That's 100%, sir. That's 100%.
And like Joey said, like, subscribe, follow. Let us know what we can talk about that would keep your attention a little bit more than baseball.
All right, everybody, that's it on this one. Look, Legacy on Fire, episode 77. We'll be back next week for episode 78. We'll start to talk about the NFL's breakdowns here. We're gonna start breaking down some conferences and breaking down some teams. Start getting into our preview of the NFL season as we got about 8 weeks out, and we got football at the end of the month. So, Lions, I think Lions and Chargers in the Hall of Fame game. So we got NFL heading up. So we're going to start doing our previews on that. Once again, everybody, thank you all for tuning in. This has been episode 77 of Legacy on Fire here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network. Until next time.